Welcome into a new Buff Stampede Radio. Adam Munsterteiger, the publisher of BuffStampede.com, joined by our football analyst, William Gardner. And William, there's never a dull moment in Boulder, is there?
Not since Coach Prime came to town. There's a lot of dull moments in the previous coach, but that reflected his personality, I guess. I don't know now, but this, you know what? This is what you get when you want to play at the top.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get drama, and it's not because of anything wrong with anything else. But when you're playing at the top, people want your coaches, they want your players, and there's a whole added level of drama that comes with it. That kind of keeps you on your toes. I don't know. And the more we win, the more people are going to want to come after Coach Prime and come after his coaching staff and what have you. So, if you don't like it, might want to find another hobby. Go fishing. Nice, quiet.
Well, it's such a quick turnaround, too. It's much quicker than what we're used to covering and following this program, in the sense that usually around that Thanksgiving weekend, you're looking to the next season. Well, credit to these Buffs. They went 9-3, and so or 9-4, and so they went to the Alamo Bowl, and this stuff kind of comes on a quick turnaround, which is kind of now.
Well, you think this is a quick turnaround? Next year, we'll be sitting here talking about our preview for the game coming up.
Okay. All right.
If things go the way we all want, right? I mean, so it can only get it can only get a quicker turnaround, and as a coach, it's like if you get into the playoffs and you're going all the way to that championship game, man, you're going to have to be on your toes with recruiting and portal and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's just gonna good.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought there.
I think I might have been done.
Well, we're going to the Hungry Toad in February. We got some dates we're working on. We're going to try to get another live podcast going on there and get some fans to join us out there at the Hungry Toad. I'm going to tell you, I have gotten French onion soup at a lot of places, William, and that's the best I've had to this date. Their chicken wings were phenomenal. And so hopefully we can catch up with Hans and Rada during your little break from work coming up.
Yeah, I need, and we might have to go if I'm going to be up there a couple of days. We're going to have to go get a big cheeseburger somewhere. So,
Okay. So I went to the Sink with Brian on, I think it was Monday, and he got the new version of Juju's Precision Pass Burger, which is now the Perfect Timing Burger, and it looked pretty good. It was not quite as gluttonous as what we experienced when we went with the original burger.
Yeah, I just want a lot of meat and a lot of cheese, and don't mess around with the other garbage. It ain't a salad. It's a carnivore delight. So there you go.
But yeah, we're going back to the Hungry Toad. Can't wait. They are just north of Pearl Street, and they have got your spot. If you're a soccer fan, you got to go there. If you are a CU football, basketball fan, show up and support a local hangout that we really enjoy being at. Without further ado, William, let's address Coach Prime to the Dallas Cowboy rumors. In fact, let me have you kind of MC this segment, and you ask me questions you want answered, and then we can kind of move on because I'm already over it. I was over it before it even started.
Well, and I think this goes back to what we started out talking about, is that, if you want to be a fan of a team that's at the top of the game, you're going to have this kind of stuff going on because people are going to want to poach your coach all the time. But it's also part of the quick turnaround. And, regardless of what else is going on and who he's talking to, he's still got to get these players ready. And we'll get into some of those things that are happening here a little bit later. But, it's not just Dallas, because we had the first there was the Raiders, and now it's the Dallas Cowboys. And so, why don't you tell us your feeling about what's happening and what's coming down the pike?
Well, I think a lot of people want to just kind of react to rumors with a lot of emotions, and I get that, because I think if you are a Colorado Buffalo supporter, you want Coach Prime in Boulder, and if you've been around for a while, had this feeling that happened when Mel Tucker left after the 2019 season, and he didn't do so until February, and it really put this whole Colorado football program in a really, really, really bad spot.
Yeah.
And And I think that's where a lot of this comes in terms of how it's hard to compartmentalize a little bit of recognizing that Coach Prime drives clicks and there's a negotiation with his contract going on right now, which is beyond, you know, a normal coach. Deion Sanders is not a normal coach. And I
Correct.
don't think this was well publicized, but he was introduced as Colorado's new head coach, and his contract had not been finalized yet. And uh, I was dialed in, and there were some things that made me think that, like, maybe that intro presser shouldn't have happened because there was a lot of stuff that had to get figured out. And a lot of that goes back to Coach Prime. Deion Sanders is a different individual. There are a lot of endorsement ends of this. You see the figures of what he brings into Boulder from a financial standpoint, and yet you have a program in this NIL era that is not competitive with the elite programs. That most of those programs you saw play in the college football program. So you're trying to, I think, leverage not only your personal attribution to this, but you've got the assistant coach pool to it. You've got, again, the NIL standpoint. There are a lot of facets to this that make a contract extension very, very difficult.
Well, I think
It,
if you're
it,
going to go ahead.
well, I was just going to say, if you told me that Coach Prime is not going to be the head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes when they kick off the 2025 season, I would tell you I'd be very surprised. I can't use the word shocked because of, I mean, I've been covering college football long enough, but I think that you should be able to sleep at night. But I also get it. Like, you've got this person that has brought so much life into your community, to your football program, and you want to have kind of that assurance. And I get that. But nothing along this whole process has made me really may want to make Colorado fans concerned, because I see that concern already, and I think it's a little bit overblown.
Well, I'd have to disagree with you. I think that
Um,
given the last 15 years, I mean, all we do for this goddamn program is get kicked in the nuts repeatedly, over and over. We've had an administration that didn't give a rat's backside about the whole damn thing for 2 decades, didn't give a damn, and so we show up on Saturdays and we get our butts beat in, and we get crap coaches that are, recommended by some idiot because he's got a house in Boulder, and we hire second-rate coaches, and then we finally get a guy who is top of the heap, and we shouldn't be nickel and diming the guy. And I'll get into that in a minute, but I think that I don't know. My personal feeling as a CU fan is that I wake up every morning waiting to see what's going to fall on my head from behind me, because this program has sucked for so long and been such a nightmare to be a fan of. It's kind of hard for some of us to believe things can go right. So I don't know. I totally understand where people are coming from. And I hear a lot of people talk about what they think they're sure of, but you're not sure of a damn thing, because the only guy that knows is Coach Prime and whoever he's
right.
negotiating with on the other side, right? But I think any CEO, like if you're a CEO of a big corporation, you're going to move to another corporation. You want to make sure it's not just about what you get paid, but that you also have in place the things that you need to be successful. You need to know what it is they want you to do there, and then you need to have the things in place to be successful to do those things. And so I think, as much as I don't think people should be thinking, oh, Coach Prime's just holding out, being greedy, asking for more money. I think he's making sure that a lot of things are in place so that he can put us in that championship game and put us in the playoffs and all those kinds of things. And I think there's a lot of back and forth about that kind of thing. I'll say shocked. I'd be shocked if he coached in the NFL. I don't think he's cut out, or I don't think he's really wired for that. I don't think his
Cut out for it, but you, like, to your point, he's not
yeah,
wired for
yeah,
what that whole process is.
yeah,
His talents are so much better suited at the college level.
yeah. They fit a whole different thing. I mean, his and what turns him on and what gets him out of bed, I think, in the mornings, aside from going fishing, which I love, but is making a difference in the lives of young people and frankly all people. And I don't know how much difference can you make in the life of a millionaire playing football as a 25-year-old. I mean, things are going pretty well, but you get a guy coming in here at 17 or 20 or whatever, and you can make a lot of difference. And the difference he can make in terms of what he can do for the city of Boulder and frankly the whole state of Colorado is massive. So you can't do that as a coach. You're going to go. You're going to be a coach in an NFL team, and well, you're not going to be there long, and you're not going to have as much say over what happens. You got a whole organization and all that kind of junk, and I just don't think it fits well into what he wants to do and who he wants to be. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not one of those people that's driven by money either. A lot of people on the board say, well, if they offer you enough money, you got to do it. Not me, man. I'm sitting here working harder, longer hours, and any of those damn coaches getting paid peanuts. So how smart am I, right?
Well, I think I can assume that Coach Prime and his motivation is more about putting Colorado in a position to where he can achieve his goals as a coach
Yeah,
more so than because obviously we know that he can get that endorsement money and make
right.
money in other ways. And so that's the part of it. In I will say this, William, one of the things that gives me a lot of hope in this situation is that there is more support behind CU athletics right now from a
Yeah,
administration standpoint than there has been in a long time. Starting at the top was Todd Solomon, the new chancellor in Boulder is pro athletics, and obviously Rick George has done a great job kind of cultivating those relationships. And you've got a regents board that doesn't have a couple members that are trying to make kind of political gains by you know downgrading the impacts of football. And so you've got this more cohesive unit. And yeah, it's tough, William, because I can sit here and say, yeah, you should give Coach Prime $20 million a year, make him the highest paid coach in college football, and that'd be great. But like, I don't understand all the intricacies of what
yeah.
goes into that, and I think that's the part of like kind of the sports venturing into the financial aspect of how this all works that makes it more challenging. And then you've got the NIL aspect where you're going to have college programs taking uh, kind of a role in that as opposed to these collectives. And so there's a lot of changing pieces. And so it is difficult, I think, from a financial standpoint. And I will give Rick George a lot of credit for being fiscally responsible
Yeah.
as the athletic director in Boulder. And so you've got all these pieces. It's not as easy as just saying, give him the Brinks truck, back it up into his house. It's a little bit more complicated than that.
Well, except the people are stupid about it, okay? And they and I don't give a damn if you're insulted that I say that. If you think I'm talking to you, then I probably am. But you got to look at this like if you're the president of the university or you're the athletic director of the university, you also have to look at what's the larger picture financially and if you're giving him 20 million a year, what are you getting back out of that? Okay, any expenditure can be fiscally responsible if what you get out of it is worth what you put into it. Okay, I mean it could be worth 50 million to pay the damn guy if you're getting 100 million worth of value back out of the other end, and I think we are. You look at I mean, there's a hundred different ways to evaluate what you get out of that. You just the increase in admissions when football is successful, the ad revenue of selling stuff because people are excited, going to the playoffs and what that means to the university and all these other kinds of things. You have to look at a larger picture of what that money is going to get you in the long term. What's the value to this university of a national championship, for example, right?
Mhm.
I think it's freaking huge. I mean, you almost can't put a dollar figure on it. But I also realize if you're the president of the university and you're the athletic director, not the athletic director so much, but if you're the president of the university, some people don't like sports, man. And they don't give a damn whether it brings in money or not. Some people think that shouldn't be part of the university. And you know what? If you don't like that, that's your problem because they're entitled to their opinion too.
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
and
he does, but you also have to play politics, right? I mean,
yeah,
you're managing so many different
you got
departments. It's not, yeah,
professors, you got, yeah, I
yeah,
mean, you got chairmen of departments, and you got, I can't even conceive of all the different things you got to juggle if you're running the university, right? I mean, it's not even just Boulder, for God's sakes. You got the medical center, you got Pueblo, so
yeah.
I think there's a larger picture that people have to look at in terms of the value. And I see people on the board say, well, you shouldn't pay that money until he's proven he's one of the top coaches in the country. How has he not? Name me another coach with Rick Saban, with Nick Saban retired, who could have done in the last 2 years what Deion Sanders did here. There are no names. There are no names because we were dead. We were burnt to the ground. It's kind of like like the American pickers, and they go find an old rusted, beat down hull of a car, right? And then some guy works on it for 2 years, and a Lamborghini comes out of the garage, right? That's sort of the extent of what happened here. And so I think he has proven he's one of the best coaches in the country. Now he needs to take it that next step. So I don't know. You have to look at what the value is of what you're getting out of what you put that money into him. And I really feel like if he was to leave now, I think what I like about all this is that we have you're right that the administration has shown that they're willing to put up the money for this program and to support it, right? But so what? We got the right guy now. If we lose him, then it's a roll of the dice, and we bring in some other jackass. And maybe he's Bill McCartney, and maybe he's fricking Carl Durrell. I don't know.
That was well said. Yeah, I think that it is hard to put a price on what Coach Prime has brought to Boulder. And uh, can I title this podcast? William says, "Back up the Brinks truck for Coach Prime."
Well, no, I think it's, I mean, I think you give the guy whatever he wants because I don't think he's going to ask for anything that's totally off the reservation or totally not related to what he's trying to do here in the program. I mean, I don't know. Maybe maybe he wants a solid gold Lamborghini. I got Lamborghinis on the brain, but maybe somebody ought to get me one and I get over it. But why would you not? Where's the downside of it? And I'm not sitting at the table and I don't have to justify it to anybody, but if you're going to have this kind of a program, you got the guy in place already. Why take a chance with him going somewhere else? It doesn't make any sense to me
Yeah.
because you're going to lose all these players and you're going to start from the bottom again, man. And I don't know. And then, who's going to want to come here because it's like, hey, we won't pay up uh, for what we want to be. What's the point?
It is a complicated negotiation, but as we've seen, Coach Prime is full steam ahead in terms
Yeah.
of assembling his staff for this coming season. We're going to be back
Yeah.
for a new podcast with William, and we're going to talk about legendary Colorado coach Bill McCartney, who passed away last week. And then we're going to talk about some of the new roster additions that announced themselves to the Buffaloes this week, and also talk about some of those coaching changes.
I
Thanks for
think
tuning.
I think
Go ahead.
maybe you title it William blows a stack again. But I mean, I'm with you. I mean, all the signs that I see point to him being back. And look, there's no sure things in life, man. Somebody asked me today, you gonna be here next Wednesday? Well, I don't know. Assuming I don't get hit by a bus or a meteor hits the earth, I don't know. I don't have control over everything, right? There's no sure things. We hope for the best, and I feel fairly confident that Coach Prime will be on the sidelines next year, and we'll have a better team than we had this year.
And also should mention that Coach Prime was inducted to the Hula Bowl Hall of Fame this past week, and they had, I think it was 5 or 6 guys out there. Justin Mayers was out there, Mark
Right,
Vissett.
right.
You had BJ
Shane
Green,
Cokes was out there, I
Shane
think.
Cokes was out there, and so you had a good contingent of Buffs
Yeah,
out there. So
nice.
that was a cool moment to see. Doug Flutie from our era, watching football,
Yeah, well,
come up
yeah.
there and introduce him. No,
I'm,
I remember,
I'm,
I remember
yeah,
Doug
but
Flutie. I
wait.
remember him as a Bears fan because his hands were so small. He kept fumbling the ball all the time.
Well, I'm just going to say though that we can't. There's no our era unless it's an era of about 40 years. I'm
How old
old.
are you? How
I'm
old are
I'm
you, William?
I'm
You're
I'm six.
60.
I'm
60.
60, buddy.
Okay.
What are
Okay.
you,
Well,
23?
45.
Yeah, okay.
So it doesn't count. Okay.
Close. I don't know. You could have been my kid if I was, better with
Nefarious
with
and
their
doing
age.
wrong things at a young age. William, let's not even go there. All right, let's come back
Yeah, we just
and
baited the hook right there.
and just reset and get back to talking some more Colorado Buffaloes football. Thank you for tuning into the show. Today's episode is brought to us by Macaulay Capital Fractional CFO Services. Is your business looking for financial guidance and support but not yet big enough to hire a full-time CFO? Well, we have a solution for you. Hiring a fractional CFO who can work with your business on a part-time basis. You get the benefit of having a seasoned financial expert on your team without the commitment or expense of a full-time hire. And here's the best part. It's likely that a partnership with Macaulay Capital will be a win-win situation, meaning that your business will make more money from the guidance of a fractional CFO than the total cost of partnering with us. For more information or to set up a meeting, please visit MacaulayCapital.com. That's MCCAULEY capital.com.